What's up, what's up, what's up, guys? It's Jason with Overthink Gaming here with another controller video for Scuf. All right, so many of you guys probably don't know, but the PS4 is one of my favorite systems. I used to be an Xbox One gamer, like hardcore Xbox One. I had the Xbox One Elite controller, which was hands down one of the best controllers I ever played. But when I had a PS4, that was the only downfall about the system, is I didn't like the controller. Now I love it. I love the PS4 controller. But at the time, the adjustment of going from an Xbox One gamer to a PS4, it was kind of hard. So I started looking at different controllers coming from Elite controller. I had to go with Scuf. So Scuf was the popular brand going around at the time. Everyone was talking about Scuf. You know, they were hardcore advertising to all these elite pro players, all these Call of Duty, G Fuel, snorting, all these Call of Duty players with their 10% off coupon code. But anyways, nonetheless, I did look into Scuf, and I did buy one of their controllers. The first controller I bought was the Vantage controller, which happened to be the first video I have ever done. Yes, the first video I ever did was for the Scuf Vantage controller, and that controller is crap. I don't care if you guys want to look into it, if you guys are interested in it, you guys can go ahead and buy it and be like me. Just make sure you look at the return policy. But I was not happy with it at all. Luckily, I ordered through GameStop, and their return policy was easy. I didn't have too much trouble. I just had to wait a little while. But the thing with that controller was the dead zone in the sticks. It was horrible. It's supposedly our software that fixed that. I don't know. But honestly, it being wired and unwired, because it was an original PS4 controller in the inside, they built it from the ground up. It was kind of weird. You had to have a button to press for Bluetooth, and it lost connectivity, and it got it. It was weird. It just was it wasn't a good controller, and it felt really cheap. The D-pad would come off really fast, and I didn't like it. So I started looking up a little deeper into Scuf, and I came across the Impact controller. And that happened to be one of my first videos. It's kind of crazy, right? I did my first video 9 months ago, and I did the Impact review 6 months ago. It's like time is, like, it seems so much longer ago. But I did a review on the Impact controller. I gave my thoughts on it, and I did like it. You know, it took me a little while to adjust to a little bit to get the comfort and the feel for the controller, but I ended up liking it a lot. And that's the controller I have. When I play Call of Duty, I am only playing with my Scuf controller. I don't play with anything else. Now, there are other brands out there. You know, right now there's aim controllers. I tried them. They're okay. You know, there's other controllers, but the one brand that sticks out the most is Battle Beavers. Now, this isn't a Battle Beavers video, unfortunately, because I do not have that controller. I need to get one, but it's pretty awesome because they have like a tension on the sticks, and their triggers, man, their triggers are awesome. They're like mouse clicks and stuff like that. But let's not get it too much into the Battle Beaver controller. We're talking about the Scuf today, so I want to talk about the Scuf Impact controller 9 months later. This controller is freaking awesome. I got used to the comfort. The comfort's probably the best thing about the controller. I got used to it. Now, when I go back to PS4 controller, I'm still used to the PS4 controller. So if you guys like that comfort for the PS4 controller, they do have older models which only have 2 paddles. I really didn't look into that, but I can tell you this controller right here is pretty awesome for the comfort. Now, I do love the paddles because you can press anywhere. Like, unlike other controllers like what Battle Beaver has, they do have where you can custom put the buttons, which is pretty awesome for some people, but everyone's, hands are different. So with the paddles being like, you can press it all the way down here to, getting pretty high up there, it just, you can press the paddle pretty much anywhere. And that's what I like about this controller. It's pretty awesome. Now, I did go back to the PS4 sticks, and I did open up this controller and went back to the PS4 buttons because I had got it all blacked out and it was kind of plain. And when I had it apart, I was like, well, might as well. Well, let's talk about the issues with the controller. The number one issue that I have, are the reason why most people get it, is the triggers. The triggers are okay. There's a little notch right here that you kind of move up and down. To me, that's a little old school. As far as the Xbox One Elite, you got to slide this little slider, and you got to do the adjustments through there and through software and all that. It was pretty awesome on there. Now, having these little things, it's pretty cheap, and if you want to adjust the tension, you have to manually put a little Allen head in there and just manually adjust it, which seems like it's pretty cool, right? It seems like it's really cool. One of the things that the videos are not telling you about is the sensitivity to this thing. It is freaking sensitive, and it's not sensitive like in a good way, in a bad way, because what you think is kind of sensitive, the PS4 will register it like big time sensitive. You can't even get inside your game. You're pressing like X to get in, and it won't register the buttons because it thinks it's constantly pressing the trigger. It's kind of weird. If you watch YouTube, it'll just start fast forwarding on its own and doing crazy stuff. So I thought there was a defect with my controller. So what I did is I called Scuf and I told them about my issue, and they were like, "Dude, just adjust the hair triggers." It was kind of funny. It was like a real straight to it response. It didn't seem professional at all. Just it said like adjust hair triggers. Like that's it after all this paragraph I wrote. And sure enough, that's what fixed it. Now that is the downfall of this controller because the sensitivity, like it just doesn't feel like anything special. Honestly, it's no different than the original controller. So yes, it's a little more sensitive, but you're still pushing down a lot. Now I would consider, I did play with the aim controller. Actually, those triggers were a little bit better. So that's what I didn't like was the triggers, but hey, they do work. They're not bad. They're not bad at all. It's just that sensitivity, you can adjust it too much really easy. And that's a downfall to me. The other thing which happened to me, and the reason why I made this video 9 months later, I mean, pretty much everything the controller I like, and there's not much wrong with it. I mean, that's just a little thing that I'm griping about is the sensitivity. But the one thing that happened to this controller that just pissed me off, and it's not going to be Scuf's fault, it's PlayStation's fault, I believe, is my left stick, which you use it for running. You know, every time you run on a first-person shooter, at least Call of Duty, you push in the L3 button, you click it down, and you push up to move forward. And doing that over and over, you know, it has to work all the time, because if you're in a situation where you're shooting and you need to run real fast, you need to click and get out of there, this controller starts stuttering. It would work sometimes, most of the time it wouldn't. It was just on and off. It really wouldn't want to work when I needed to hurry up and move. So that started becoming an issue. It started like little by little, and I had already had the controller like 7-8 months. Just to let you guys know, the warranty on this controller is 6 months. You can send it to Scuf. I do not know how much that's going to cost you, but I can imagine it's going to be a lot more than what it's worth. But anyways, so it started doing that more often, and I started getting pissed off. I started hating this controller. I'm like, dude, like what's going on? Like I hate this. So once I started researching it, I started noticing it happens to all PS4 controllers. I'm not sure every single person or what, but it happens quite often. It's kind of an issue that's there, but it's nothing that anyone's making a big deal about. It only happens with first-person shooters using the L3 button, so it's not like whatever. I just started using my PS4 controller, and then I was like, you know what? I need to fix this. It's out of warranty. What do I do? Like, what is the issue? One of the first things that people do is they clean out these little discs that are in the inside. Now, you don't have to take apart the controller. You can just take off this ring, and if you watch videos, you know, you can get a little screwdriver in there and take those little discs out, clean them out, swap them out with another controller. Now, that will fix if you have a drifting issue. If you have a drifting issue where you're standing still, but you guys either moving to the left or right, or vice versa, you know, with the right stick or whatever, you know, you can fix that. And that's with that. And it has worked for me in the past, not with this controller, but it has worked with me in the past. So those little discs do help with that. Now, you may want to try it with that stuttering problem that I have, which I tried it and it did not fix it. I was hoping over and over it would fix it, and it did not. But I do have a fix for you guys. If you guys are real comfortable opening up controllers and are comfortable just using a soldering iron, just something really easy. It's nothing crazy. You guys can fix this controller. Now, I'm not holding any responsibility for this. If you guys want to do this on your own, go ahead and do it. I saw there's not many videos out there showing how to open up a Scuf controller. Now, I did a quick video right here. I'm going to show you guys me opening up the controller, what I did to fix this issue. Basically, I had to get a new board from a new controller. Make sure it's a version 2 controller, one of the controllers that have, you know, the harder plastic sticks. You'll see the light bar go through the touchpad, and you also be able to tell the piece right here in the middle between the triggers. It'll be like a plastic piece. The old style controller was all one piece. So that's how you can tell if it's a version 2. One of the newer style controllers, they just have a different feel for it. If you played the PS4 since the beginning, you will see that feeling right away. If you have one of those controllers, you can get the board and swap it, which I did. Now, if you have skills that are better than mine, you can actually take out the analog stick. Now, I tried taking it out. I did use flux over, I did use flux on the connection, and I did also use a soldering wick, and I tried to get most of the solder that I could, and I tried to hit it up with a heat gun to get the rest of the solder, because it seems like it's on both sides of the analog stick, and it just didn't work for me. I even ordered a different wick, a better one, and it just did not work. So if you guys have you know, better luck than me, all you gotta do is replace an analog stick. You don't have to buy a new controller, a whole new board, but that's what I did because I couldn't get it out and I was frustrated. And to me, it's a easier fix and it's really easy if you buy a new controller. Now, I will show the video right here. All right, guys, so the first thing you wanna do is make sure you take off your analog sticks and take off your paddles. So in the back, there's gonna be 4 screws right here in the back. There's no hidden screw. I took off that void sticker warranty, but there was nothing behind there. But you wanna pay attention to this screw right here. It's gonna be a security screw. It's gonna look like this. I mean, you can need a specific bit, but I just grabbed a little flathead and I went ahead and just twisted. It wasn't actually on there tight. Then you're going to grab something plastic. Be careful while opening this up. You don't want to damage your controller, take it apart. But before taking it apart, you might want to look at the disc. I mean, I took a look at the disc. You don't even have to take part of the controller for this. You can just open up your rings and take out the analog sticks. And just make sure you put it with the 2 notches down at the bottom. Sometimes cleaning it will fix issues with drifting. And sometimes that stutter. But it didn't fix the stutter with me. I tried different discs and everything like that. But it didn't fix it for me. And then we're going to want to be careful while opening it up. Once you have it opened up, be careful because there's 2 ribbons that could come out. But first thing, let's take out the battery. It's just gonna be this little connector right here. Just pay attention. It goes right underneath the loop. Once we take it out, there's a little sticky tape. Sorry, be careful. And then we're gonna want to take out this ribbon right here. Just go ahead and yank it out, and it's not too bad. And then we're gonna want to pay attention to this 4 screws right here. This is going to be the board that's your touch buttons, your paddle buttons. I'm sorry. So go ahead and take that apart and be careful. So we're going to take out the battery covers, just 1 screw right here. You know, just take that out. And then you want to be careful right here. So you can see right here with the soldering, I tried taking out the analog stick. I tried to use solder. I mean, I tried to desolder it. I used flux. I even used a wick. I tried everything. The heat gun. I couldn't get it out. I mean, if you guys have better luck, you guys can try that. But you know, I'm just gonna take out the whole board. So right here, you want to pay attention to these 2 wires right here, the green one and the red one. Basically, we're going to take out the solder of these and we're going to put in a new board and replace it. But first thing before taking it out, get this little blue tab and take out this ribbon right here. When putting back in the controller, make sure you pay attention to this. It's the hardest part of putting back the controller together. But you know, you just want to make sure you do not forget about that. Otherwise, your board's not going to come out. You're going to have trouble. Be careful while taking out the rumble motors because these wires will break really easily. You can solder them back in if they broke. Mine are going to break right here. Pretty soon. And I mean, it doesn't even matter if you're going to use a new board. Just go ahead and put that front shell away. And then once you got the board out, you know, you're going to want to separate it from that plastic little housing just so you have the board exposed right here. And this is it, guys. This is pretty much what Scuf is selling you. This little bitty board right here that has the little push buttons for your paddles and your triggers. I mean, that's pretty much it. You're paying Scuf for that and the design of the comfort. It's a little bit different from the PS4, but honestly, it is what it is. All right, so you're going to want to grab your wick or whatever. You're going to desolder this, and it's pretty easy. We're going to want to take out the solder of the green wire right here and pay attention to where the solder bead's at on the analog stick. Make sure you mark it down or take a picture or whatever. You don't want to forget. You don't want to solder to the wrong thing. It's pretty easy. Let's just put a little heat to it, and let's get this solder out right here. Same thing to the red wire right here. Now you'll notice there's some hot glue right there holding the wires together. We'll just put some more at the end to keep those wires in place. All right, remove it, separate it. So this is it right here. This is pretty much the triggers and the board. That's what Scuf is selling you right here. These triggers and the board and the push button board right here. And that's pretty much it for Scuf controller. All right, so I went ahead and bought a whole brand new controller, $50 at Walmart. Kind of sucks with the price, but hey, man, these Scuf controllers are expensive, and I do want new sticks. I could have went used, but So we're gonna take apart this controller. It's just like pretty much the Scuf, but actually easier because we don't have to deal with the board. So take off the 4 screws, take out the plastic back housing right here. Be careful. We're just gonna have that 1 ribbon right here. Take out that 1 ribbon. Next, take out the battery, just like the other controller, and then the battery housing with the 1 screw. And make sure this crazy ribbon right here, the one that we don't want to forget about, go ahead and take that out, and we're going to separate the board. Luckily here with the rumble motors, we don't have to really worry about them too much, but we are going to break the plastic housing right here. I went ahead and cut it off the side because they're in there. Now you can desolder it, but I didn't want to do with all that. You can actually put the controller back in if you want to reuse this. You know, if you want to put that O board back in, which I ended up doing. It still had the stutter problem, of course, but you could still reuse this. Just snip it at the end and be careful with your rumble motors. You don't want to toss them around and resolder them and cause more work. All right, so we're gonna solder the board back in. It's just those 2 wires, like I said. It's pretty easy. We'll just start off with a red wire, put a little solder bead on your soldering iron, and boom, let's get that back in there. And then we're gonna wanna do the same thing with the green wire. Let's put that in there. And that's pretty much what all the soldering that the Scuf controller has. It's just those 2 wires. It's pretty easy. Now you're gonna wanna get the glue gun, sorry for my dirty glue gun here, and just put a little bit of glue right here at these wires, just so they kind of stay in place. All right, guys, just make sure you guys be very, very careful while putting that back together the way you guys took it apart. Just take your time and put that back together, you know, really easily. It's not that hard. The hardest part is getting that little ribbon in there. Now, once you got it together, go ahead and go to your system and I try on your first-person shooter or whatever game you guys want to try on. Now, with me, it didn't work like right away. I was like, oh no, I messed this up, but it's the sensitivity. I had to adjust the sensitivity of the triggers. Once I did that, it worked fine. Now, I put all the guts back into the new controller I bought, and sure enough, it stutters, so that lets me know for sure it was the analog stick. So once again, would I recommend the Scuf controller? I would have to say yes. This controller is awesome, and the good thing about it is that it is a PS4 controller in there. Now, it is pricey. It is a lot for it, so I wouldn't go all expensive trying to buy a whole decked out Scuf version. You know, if you want to spend money, maybe go for the Battle Beaver. All right, I haven't even tried the Battle Beaver, but I'm all up on it. I think it's an awesome looking controller, and honestly, it may be better than the Scuf, but we're talking about the Scuf right here, and I do recommend it. It is kind of pricey, and it is a PS4 controller in there. It's very easy to take apart, very easy to fix. The hardest thing is get that security screw out there. Now, I was lucky and was able to get that screw out just by using a flathead and twisting it counterclockwise, and it did come out. If you guys do not have that luck, unfortunately, you guys are gonna have to drill it and put that on a clamp or something because that controller will start spinning. It's very dangerous. Make sure you guys don't hurt yourself if you have to drill that out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that helped somebody out there that's having the same problem as me. I looked on YouTube. There's other people having the same problem, and this was the way I went around fixing it. Yes, it cost me 50 bucks, but I have my $200 controller working, and I'm happy with it. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like. And if you guys are new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and I'll be catching you guys on the next video. Peace out.